I was saying, for young athletes, young kids, how can they deal with grief and not allow it to affect their performance in classroom or in the particular sports they play, or even affect them emotionally? What can they do?
It's not possible. It's going to affect everything about you. We talked about earlier, everything changes. One of the things in which Professor, she was, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. She had her model of the 5 stages of grief. The first stage is, of course, number one, that denial phase. You got to go now. She created it to be linear, but it can be circle as well. You can kind of skip the stages, but the first one will be that denial phase. Like, dog, man, it didn't happen. No, man, that person didn't die. But you have to go through that stuff, man. You can't trick the process. You got to go through it, because if you don't go through the process of dealing with someone passing away, it's going to come back out years later. It's coming back out. Because I remember, because I never dealt with my father's death. I never dealt with it. And I remember it came out my junior year in high school. Coach was running us. I was frustrated. I know I talked to people. I was frustrated and everything. Because I didn't, I was like, how do I say this stuff? So I ended up took my jersey off, threw it down. Like, I quit. I'm leaving out of here. But I'm realizing that that was me acting out because I couldn't express what I was going through inside.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to say it. But then also too, we go back, as you progress even further, a lot of folks you may see are broken because they never dealt with that heartbreak, that brain break that happened whenever that happened, right? They never dealt with that, right? So then the second stage is anger. Anger, which is that quote unquote motivated stage. All that is a bunch of bravado coming out of you. All that is because this happened to me, I'm gonna go do this. And you go run full bore, you go as hard as you can go, then also you're gonna crash because that was built off of anger versus love.
Yeah.
I'm so mad. I'm so, what's happened to me? If I just would have done this, why, that stage in the process, that can set you up properly per se, but it can't finish it. You can have all the ideals in the world, but you can't finish in that stage, right? You just can't, right? You have to go through that. But then going back to acceptance, that's the last one. That's 5. I skipped one. That's 5. Acceptance is number 5. Accepting what happened, that it happened, that it happened, that it happened. Once we get to stage 5, I'm gonna go back to 3 and 4, but 5 is where it's at. Yeah, my father passed away. Yeah, it sucked. Still hurts. Yeah, this happened to me. Yeah, someone molested me. Yeah, or whatever your situation is. Yeah, that happened to me. Once you get there at acceptance, man, and their heart still heal a little bit is healing from that, you become powerful. You become so powerful. Think about this, D. Whenever you hear somebody sharing their story and they talk from a position of being healed is one of the most attractive things in the doggone world. Because it don't matter what folks think at that point in time, because you've accepted everything. It was your story. It happened, baby.
Yeah.
So again, that first one, that first stage, oh my gosh, confusion, that denial, it can be anything that you might have done, because whenever Miss Kubler-Ross began doing the study and doing everything, that was actually for cancer patients back in the 60s, those who were about to transition. That's who it was for, right? So once they got to that place of accepting where they are, they were able to live more of a fulfilled life at that point in time versus feeling sorry for themselves.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to hijack that question, but that's a loaded question like you just asked, my guy.
No, that was good. You gave us some good. There was a lot of meat on the bone left.
So, man, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I'm just excited. Go ahead.
And like you mentioned earlier about when the situation happened to you, how they had one meeting at school, support often sometimes feel few and less, or they don't even continue being consistent with it. How can people help their teammates, coaches, and friends show long-term support to someone that's grieving, consistently?
That's and again, that's a beautiful question for sure. And the one thing, I sent you, actually, I was studying, this chart, and I do a bunch of study on this stuff. It was from New York Life, actually. And they talked about that, just sharing the stories of your loved one. But more important than anything, after someone passes away, don't be giving advice. Your advice is not warranted. Let them go through it, baby. Let them have that. Let them deal with that, right? Let them deal with that, because if they go through the first two stages, that third stage is bargaining. If I would have been there, let's say when someone passed me in a car accident, if I just would have been there, they wouldn't have went. If they wouldn't have picked me up, they would be alive. But all that bargaining, you know what I'm saying? Like folks bargaining about stuff, that stage, oh man, gotta go through it though. You just gotta go through that, man. But again, the biggest thing we're talking about, man, being present. But then also, more importantly as well, don't forget birthdays. Check in, tap in, say what up. I'm just checking on you, man. How your brain today? Laughing at them, depending upon your relationship. You might crack jokes on them. Just put them on how your relationship is. I remember like my buddies crack jokes, just cracking jokes, having a good time, talking about each other. That was fun. It gave me that time to be able to connect with my boys. They knew I was hurting, but I was able to connect with them. So that's definitely something that's a big, big deal, man. And the fourth stage, depression. It's okay. You are going to be down. You're going to be down. It's okay. It's cool. It's okay to hurt. You're human. So as an athlete going through this situation as a young person, even an old person, but a young person in particular, your brain's not fully formed. As a young man, your brain fully forms at around 27. That's just when they say they're in their prime of their career, because they're smarter, because they've been through the stuff. Their body works and their brain works at the same speed. But as a younger person, you don't have that. You don't have that. But what you do have, if you so choose to, lean in on your community, of your teammates. Also, too, if your coach is worth his salt, he will definitely, or they will be able to tap in with you and check in with you. So coaches, all the coaches, be in tune with your players the best you can. I know you got everything else going on. I know you got your bills. I know you want to win. Your wife, your husband, whatever, you got life happening around you, might be in school. But if you're coaching the team, be intentional about knowing your team. Yeah. Because, for instance, I have a coach that's always been my favorite coach in the world. And you remember him, Mr. Walters.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Yeah.
He checked in on me.
Yeah.
He tapped in with me. He knew that my father had passed away a year earlier. He knew that. So he checked in with me, right? He never told anybody, but he just checked in with me. So it's very important as a coach. Check in with your teammates. Or your team, I should say. Check in with your team. So it's kind of what I got right there, my boy. Yeah.
And then one thing I would say too is give God a try. Like, in our weakness, his strength is made whole. Like, connect with him and form that relationship. But one thing I'm happy that you touched on is it's okay to grieve and take as long as you need, because can't nobody tell you the amount of hurt that you're going through and pinpoint the amount. God is the only one that knows. So I would say that to him, and that's what I do, because I have interviewed a couple young athletes who have dealt with that. And in conversation in the interview, they said, I'm doing this for my dad. He just passed. Or like, I just lost a college teammate a couple months ago, and his son is and the son and his daughters is playing at the top of their game in high school. And my heart goes out to them. I have prayer for them and all like that. But it's a real thing, but a lot of people don't really talk about it. A lot of people don't really say it. So the fact of the matter that God put us together to have this conversation, it ain't nothing but God, because it needs to be had, and people need to know the effective way. So writing is a correct way to handle said situation.
I love what you're saying. It's such a beautiful situation, right? And it's okay to be mad at God. Like, God, man, God, I'm angry right now. Like, you told me you loved me so much. Like, you told me you loved me. There was a point along my journey that I thought God didn't love me. I just thought that, like, I knew God was real. I knew Jesus was Lord. king. I knew all that stuff. But I'm like, you don't love me, do you? You know, you let me go through all this stuff. If you love me so much, why am I going through all this stuff? Right? Stool talk. Testimony. Going back earlier in the conversation. God loves you so much, cares about you so much. It may not feel like it, may not seem like it, but as you said, as you lean closer and get more understanding and take more time, how do you get to know somebody? By spending time with them. Spending more time with you, like, okay, God, I see you. I see you. It still sucks though, but I see you.
And I try to tell young people and even young adults, because some people say, I want this, I know God is real, I know I need to be doing this, but they're not ready, or they feel like what they doing, God is not gonna be pleased. I said, God knows all. He wants you right where you at.
Can't hide it.
Perfect time. He wants you. So once you get a relationship and build it, then you'll start feeling, yeah, I shouldn't be doing this, and God will start working.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man.